Change can start out small in your own neighborhood or big, affecting the whole country. Today on Eco Africa, we have stories covering everything from small-scale initiatives to large-scale programs. When it comes to protecting the environment, every little help matters. My name is Chris Alems. A warm welcome to you from Lagos.
Hello everyone, welcome from me too. I'm Malama Mukonde here in Lusaka, Zambia. It's great to have you with us. Here's what we have in store for you on this week's show. How a big afforestation project in Ethiopia is helping young people. How buzzing bees enchant people in Serbia. And how solar energy is preserving vaccines in Kenya. Scorching heat in narrow, densely packed alleyways and not a breath of air. That is the daily reality of millions of people living in Egypt's capital, Cairo. By 2050, Cairo could have more than 40 days in summer where temperatures exceed 45 degrees Celsius. An international team of architects and urban planners is working with residents in one of the neighborhoods to find simple, eco-friendly solutions to heat stress that can be implemented locally, and they have come up with some great ideas.
A densely packed neighborhood. A team of architects, researchers, and a local craftsman, plus simple everyday building materials from the streets around them. What brings them together? They are in Ardaliwa, one of Cairo's most crowded informal housing developments and home to an estimated 500,000 people. The various experts have joined forces to find low-tech ways of beating the summer heat. Temperatures in Egypt's capital have been rising due to climate change. Heat waves now last longer and often peak at over 40 degrees. And in places like Ardaliwa, it can feel even hotter.
The way streets and buildings are designed really affects how you feel the heat. And with a population the size of Greater Cairo and the associated conditions, you can actually feel temperatures that are 5 to 6 degrees higher than what's officially recorded.
Ahmed Mukhtar has been living and working here for years. Some time ago, the local craftsman and visual artist found his own way of staying cool in his rooftop premises.
I started taking apart the conventionally built wooden ceiling. Then I began adding openings like ventilation gaps, placed in the direction of the wind. And it worked great. The temperature dropped considerably, and the atmosphere completely changed.
But as buildings around him rose taller, the air stopped flowing, and the space became stifling again. Fortunately, Mukhtar is part of the cluster team, the group of architects and urban planners from Egypt and further afield. With financial support from partners and a Netherlands-based cultural program, they develop green and affordable solutions for combating heat stress, with one example being Mukhtar's studio.
Electricity keeps getting more expensive, and most people simply can't afford to install an air conditioner. So there's definitely an important economic side to it, but there's also an environmental aspect. Mechanical solutions might give you better indoor comfort, but they also push more heat, pollution, and CO2 outside.
We've done through an initial analysis, even previous to the workshop, where we've walked through the neighborhood and analyzed all the, interventions people have made to cool and shade their housing, which a lot of it is done actually through textiles and canopies, etc.
So, instead of eco and friendly technology, how about making the most of existing options? The Mashrabiyya, for example, is a wooden lattice screen that blocks direct sunlight while slowing the airflow. Traditionally, people would place clay jugs full of water next to it in order to cool the incoming breeze. The idea now is to update the concept with modern materials.
We're designing screens that can be placed in front of balconies and windows, and through incorporating also ceramics, and which can be watered, and then through evaporative cooling can help cool the units on the inside.
As for the heat management in Ahmed Mukhtar's rooftop studio, the cluster team ended up choosing a design based on the solar chimney principle, a technique used in ancient times by Persian and Roman architects to create passive cooling.
It works like a greenhouse. The sun heats the metal, the air inside warms up and stays trapped. Then it starts to rise and escape through the opening we made for it.
This is where the experimental part of the undertaking begins. The team starts scouting local stores and workshops for materials that are both low-cost and low-key, such as wood, old corrugated metal sheeting, and plastic. All for a prototype. By the end, it has taken almost 8 months from the initial idea to completion of the solar chimney, until the moment arrives when the structure is hoisted up and installed in the artist's studio. It might not look perfect, but the point here is not form, but function, and an affordable solution.
I hope this prototype will improve the overall climate of the space.
Projects like this can be extremely effective. They offer real, lasting solutions. And the cultural mindset here is, don't waste time overthinking an idea that works. So the model could easily spread to other buildings or neighborhoods.
One rooftop, one artist, one prototype built for a specific space, but probably transferable to many others like it.
We stay in the city, but cross now to Europe and the Serbian capital, Belgrade. The city is astonishingly green and has become a hotspot for urban beekeepers. But for some of them, it's not just about producing honey. This week's Doing Your Bit shows some unusual ways in which people are benefiting from the busy bees.
A hive with a view. Perched atop a hotel in Belgrade, beekeeper Stanko Raric checks on his charges every morning. It's not just about harvesting their nectar. Our main goal was not to produce tons of honey with urban beekeeping, but to bring the life of the bees closer to the public and educate them. We want people to appreciate the importance of bees, not just because of what they produce, but also as pollinators. The bees are thriving in the Serbian capital, which is one of the biggest cities in the Balkans. In Belgrade, there's always something blooming. Belgrade is a beautiful city with 2 rivers, the Sava and the Danube. There are countless green areas and big parks, not to mention the flowers on the terraces and window boxes of many homes. A steady supply of forage and lower exposure to pesticides creates a bee-friendly environment. Back on the ground, brothers David and Dario Maricic run a hidden bee paradise with several thousand plants right near the city centre. They offer bee-based wellness treatments inside this cabin. One is beehive inhalation, which can support the immune system and respiratory health. In the other room, you lie above 80 to 100,000 bees, absorbing their vibrations, which is incredible for the nervous system. It can help with stress, burnout, insomnia, and anxiety. There are often arguments over who gets to lie down first, both among our team members and the visitors. Keeping bees in urban environments is more than just a trend. They support biodiversity and agriculture, as bees are important pollinators. Urban beekeeping plays a key role in boosting their numbers, as industrial farming and habitat loss are a danger to the insects. People ask us, what will we do if we lose the bees? I say, let's not even talk about it. Let's all make an effort. Let everyone who watches this video plant a flower this summer or a tree this autumn, and together we'll move forward in the right direction.
Here at Eco Africa, we often report on waste. The ever-growing amount of trash is not just choking our cities here in Africa, but also in Europe. A lot more recycling and repairing would help, especially in the global north. Now, the Italian town of Capanori has set itself on an ambitious goal. It aims to become a zero-waste city. So let's see how far they have come.
500 kilos of trash per person per year. That's the European average. And the waste piles up every day. But one town in Italy is saying stop and showing us there's another way.
We're a family of 5, 3 kids, 2 adults. We produce about 3 bags of waste each year. That's around 30 kilos.
30 kilos a year? It might sound unbelievable, but in the Tuscan town of Capanori, families living almost waste-free is normal. Step by step, using a system that Martina lives by.
This is the bin for waste. Everything that can't be recycled ends up here. For example, these cotton pads I use at work. Unfortunately, these disposable rubber gloves are also waste. I also need those for my work.
The same principle extends to the furnishings. Nothing new, everything is reused. All part of becoming a zero-waste family.
The mattress, the bed frame, and this closet came from a house in town that was being renovated. They called us and asked us for help and gave us this wardrobe. It's from the 1920s. Giving things a second chance is a lovely idea, and it should be more than a theory. It should be a way of life.
Buongiorno, Martina.
Behind the Capanori revolution is Rossano Eccolini. Here, waste is regularly weighed and sampled. He's interested in what's left over. 86.5% of Capanori's waste is already being recycled, thanks to a door-to-door collection system. To him, trash isn't waste, it's a design flaw.
Zero waste means repair, reuse, analyse. The average citizen can recycle, but if something can't be recycled, the responsibility lies with the manufacturer. It's a design flaw. Products should be made to be recyclable or reusable, not tossed as trash.
His research centre studies waste. Any items that show up too often as waste ends up on a list, and the research centre contacts the manufacturer. Companies often respond, interested in working together to find recyclable alternatives. After all, if waste is a mistake, it can be fixed.
Here are 107 products that we can say are either easily recyclable, partly recyclable, or sensibly reusable. That's how it should be.
46,000 people live in Capanori. Each household sorts their garbage in different bags and places them by the front door. Waste collectors also check if they have been sorted properly. These warehouses at the edge of town show us what zero waste living looks like. The municipality has 6, right next to the recycling centre. Here, clothes, furniture and much more are given a second life, with the help of Annalisa Pacci from De Capo.
What looks like trash is actually a valuable resource. People donated items directly to us. Unfortunately, about 10% of it winds up in the landfill. The rest, though, 90%, gets a new life, either through free redistribution or the social thrift store.
What looks like a warehouse is a treasure trove for thrift store lovers. Items here get a second life, so do the staff. Currently, there are 30 employees working here. More than 100 families a year benefit directly from the project.
If they meet our criteria, people with low incomes can take what they need for free.
While there are social benefits, it's a concrete measure against climate change.
When I repair something, I don't need new raw materials for it, and there's no manufacturing pollution.
More than 300 cities in Europe are already following this example. Capanori might be the first, but it certainly won't be the last zero-waste city.
We head now to Kenya, where rural communities often face tough challenges in accessing reliable medical care. Vaccines save 4 to 5 million lives every year worldwide. Yet a huge amount goes to waste because of inadequate refrigeration in the supply chain. With Kenya's abundant sunshine, solar-powered equipment could help to reshape the country's healthcare inequality.
Who would have thought that solar power could lead to greater health equity? Take this mobile clinic in Kenya. All its equipment is solar powered, so it can serve people for whom a regular clinic is too far away. Or this box, which can transport medicines to healthcare providers in remote regions and still keep them refrigerated. Two examples of how green innovations are revolutionizing healthcare in rural Kenya. The mobile clinic has arrived. People are queuing up to be examined. That's because here in Bungoma region, the nearest regular clinic is 20 kilometers away, and that's not the only attraction.
I've come here for breast cancer screening and a post-cesarean checkup. I am here because the healthcare is free. If I had gone to a normal hospital, they would have charged me.
Inside, mammograms are performed behind a curtain. The mobile clinic's machines are all solar powered, including the air conditioning. It's this autonomous power supply that makes it possible to provide services out in the field. The truck is provided by the NGO AMREF, financed by the Kenyan government and international partnerships.
We were able to reach over 15,000 people. We screened for hypertension and diabetes. For the women cancer screening, we were able to reach around over 3,000 women whom we screened for the cervical and breast cancer, and more than 2,000 men whom we screened for breast cancer.
But the small island of Ringiti in the Kenyan part of Lake Victoria is impossible to reach, even for the mobile clinic. The population of around 5,000 lives mainly on fishing. Ringiti is not connected to Kenya's national power grid, and power from the local solar company is unreliable. Nonetheless, Little Blessing is about to get vaccinated against diphtheria, hepatitis B, and rotavirus. The health clinic on Ringiti can keep its vaccines refrigerated despite power cuts. Its so-called VaxiBox can keep jabs for up to 3 days thanks to its battery.
Now, for that vaccine to stay potent, it has to be kept at a temperature of +2 and between +2 and +8. And that is the reason why we must have cold chain equipment.
The vaccine for Blessing has had quite a journey to get to her. Once a month, head nurse Casmel Mirinda fetches vaccines and other medicines from neighboring island Mfangano, a 4-hour round trip. The VaxiBox is crucial in keeping the inoculums cold during the long trip. We switch now to the Kenyan capital and economic hub, Nairobi. This is where Drop Access is based, the manufacturer of the miniature fridge. The VaxiBox can be operated and charged using either solar power or mains electricity. At its heart are the batteries. The VaxiBox was invented by Nora Magero, the first Kenyan woman to win the UK's Africa Prize for Engineering Innovation. It was a personal experience that inspired her to come up with a solution.
I faced some challenges trying to get my daughter vaccinated because I go to the clinic and I'll find like the vaccines are not available, especially after there has been a very long blackout. So I decided to seek a solution that will help mothers like myself just have vaccines for the child whenever they needed it.
Back to the clinic on the island of Ringiti. Thanks to the vaccines from the mini fridge, Little Blessing can finally be vaccinated. A few months ago, this would not have been possible.
This is the first time I can say their services are good. We inquired in advance and were able to get the vaccines here. It would have been stressful otherwise because the nearest hospital is in Mbita, which is quite far.
I used to do immunizations one in a month because we didn't have any cold chain equipment where we could store our vaccines. So we'll just assemble the mothers on one particular day and do the immunization. But since we got the vaccine box, we were able to now keep our vaccines here, and we are able now to do our immunizations on a daily basis.
Since 2021, stainless steel boxes like this one have delivered over 1 million vaccines for humans and even livestock. They've ensured regular vaccinations for 250,000 children under the age of 5.
How can we get young people interested in protecting the environment? Well, certainly not by lecturing them, but if there's something in it for them, it's a different story. Ethiopia has launched a huge reforestation project. The plan is to plant 7.5 billion saplings this year alone, and the Green Legacy campaign is leading to new green jobs.
It almost looks like a religious pilgrimage, but the crowds are heading up Alamura Mountain for a different reason. These people are taking part in a massive reforestation effort. The region has experienced deforestation and erosion. Now, with the rainy season just around the corner, conditions are ideal for planting trees. The volunteers are contributing to the Green Legacy Initiative, a nationwide program launched in 2019. Its goal? To restore degraded landscapes and combat climate change. Our village often experiences floods and soil erosion. Sometimes, the floods are so severe that they even wash away the new trees. But the ones we planted recently on the terraces are growing well. Across Ethiopia, 32 billion trees have been planted in 5 years. Mature trees prevent soil erosion and stop the land drying out, as well as providing a habitat for wildlife. This area used to be a plain and hilly landscape with no trees. Since the campaign began, the environment has become greener and birds are returning. The initiative has helped raise awareness of the importance of trees and led to new businesses too. Plant nurseries are booming. They help create jobs with a stable income, especially for young people. I had no money to support my parents, who were sick. I had to drop out of school due to financial problems too. Now, since getting a job at the nursery, I can support my parents and continue my education. Once mature enough, the saplings go to government institutions, NGOs, and private customers. We mainly grow fruit trees, including avocado, papaya, and mango. In addition to their importance for protecting the climate, the trees are also used for food when they grow. The avocado tree varieties are specially selected and are suitable for the local climate. In this nursery, 20 unemployed workers have been given permanent jobs, and 70 to 80 other workers have been given temporary jobs. In 2025, the Green Legacy Initiative is once again on track to achieve its reforestation goals. Trees are vital in the fight against climate change. They store CO2 and help cool the atmosphere by providing shade and releasing water vapor into the air. The survival rate of the saplings varies. While some studies report rates just above 50%, official figures claim an overall success of 80 to 90%. Planting in suitable locations and ensuring proper aftercare are key. The village administration and the local community are working together to hire people to protect the young saplings. My friends and I have also found employment by caring for the trees and protecting them from damage caused by people and domestic animals. The scale of the campaign is certainly remarkable. It's an investment in Ethiopia's future that aims to improve the climate in the region and raise awareness of the importance of trees. The initiative is creating jobs and boosting food security and bringing the whole community together. one tree at a time.
Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Eco Africa. You won't have to wait long for more. We'll be back next week. In the meantime, it's goodbye from me, Crystal Lems, in Nigeria.
And all the best from me to Malama Mukonde in Lusaka, Zambia. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to follow us on our social channels and write to us at echo@dw.com. For more interesting stories, just search for Echo Africa online. See you next week.